The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Here we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Now picture this 5-10 years ago.
Oh, it was solid people, man. It was huge.
But
huge.
you know, okay, like I mean, I grew up in Toronto, and we used to go downtown on any given day, and you'd be shoulder to shoulder people like this.
Yeah.
And
that
doesn't even happen anymore downtown
sidewalk
unless
to
there's
sidewalk.
an event. Yep.
Yeah, sidewalk to sidewalk. But, it's not one of those this year. And then we have to start fresh and build again.
Yep.
Doing things like this to allowing people to know that, hey, this is still going on and why we should be getting involved in it.
And we like to air these things so that people like myself who can't do this anymore, I mean, even if you're not there, you're still supporting us and you're supporting this event, and that helps because it creates a conversation, and maybe next year there'll be double what's here.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I don't forget, throughout the parade, I'll grab some people. I'll ask them why they are marching.
Yes, I think you should.
All right, there you go. So what do you think?
I think it's excellent. I love, again, I was talking with Timmy earlier, and it's always like somebody starts something and everybody responds. And that's the beautiful thing about it is we're all here, and it's these events to give us a chance to kind of find each other. So this is my first march. I've been involved in plenty of events, but my first march. So
really,
so it's really exciting to be part of the movement and has, in that sense. And again, any opportunity that we get to kind of unite commercial, legacy, home grower, and just cannabis advocate together as one voice, collectively, we're going to get more done. So, bueno.
Exactly. More people will speak up, our voices are louder.
Yeah, that's it. I think it was Dalai Lama said, if you think you're too small to make a difference, sleep in a tent with a mosquito. So, kind of
lots of times.
So if you don't believe, anybody who's done that can definitely agree how a small thing can make a big difference.
You should let everybody know who you're talking to.
So, pardon me?
You should let everybody know who's talking.
Oh, I'm D the Bug Guy. I'm just I'm a Canadian grower. I'm medically licensed. I'm also CanCell certified. So I love exploring the different aspects of the industry, as well as being part of the moving change. We have a good system in the sense that it's better than not having one, but there's still work to be done.
That's right. Sure is. Yeah. So basically you march for?
Access, and I march for everybody. I march for those that can't be here today. I march for those that have been incarcerated for this plant, that still feel silenced, that don't have the access. But like I said, otherwise, we're here to support the plant. And the people that are here are trying to make a difference. A lot of familiar faces and a lot of new faces. So, yeah. So, like I said, me being one of them with the march. But, there's events surrounding it. We come together. It's a round table. Next time is better.
Yeah.
So it's all about execution. And like I said before, you build it and they come.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you for the words.
Anytime, man. I'll see you throughout the day, bro.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We will. I'm going to see if I can grab Scott here.
Who?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Dad, how are you doing these days?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. The answer is 8. It's always 8.
It's always 8. Not for this question, though. Why do you march?
I march because we still have a message to send around the world. We've legalized it. We've made it work for the best. I think it's not perfect, but we've made it. And we were talking earlier, a few of us, about the old expo days and treating yourself and how far we've come. And yet the world still is trying to catch up, I think.
And back in those days, we were out advocating for cannabis law reform, and we're still asking for cannabis law reform because there's always, like you said, it's not perfect. There's always changes that could be made.
Lots of changes there can be made. From the fact that they're talking about decriminalizing hard drugs right now, I think that's a good conversation to be having, and I think it's the right time. Also, I want to say something. I have a very nasty injury I recently suffered, and I have really come to realize, as we should maybe
we should move along, eh?
That some of the damn packaging. Did you get it? Some of the damn packaging in these containers and stuff that we're buying nowadays.
Oh, brutal!
I have suffered greatly trying to get into these.
Oh, big time! Oh, I know.
Putting my foot down, I'm tired of it, and I know a lot of people are.
Yeah, like I anything that I've had to open, majority of the time I've had to use scissors in order to get into them.
It's very difficult to do right now. So, and I'm not complaining, not at all. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that this is a simple injury in a lot of people's lives to what they've suffered. And if I'm having that much difficulty trying to get into my medicine, I can't imagine what it must be for a lot of people.
Oh, yes, because especially so many people go to the stores for medicinal purposes. And I think that's, I'm going to say too, because there's been a lot of increase in the older category of people going in, right? So they're having to deal with these packages.
And yes, from seniors to disabled people, even to people that are new to it, they're befuddled by some of these packagings. And I just look at them and just have to roll my eyes and go, yeah.
Yeah.
Our experiment.
Normalization. Yeah, correct. Well, we caught up to the parade again there, Al. All right, Scott. Thanks. We'll be talking, man.
I will look forward to
That's right. Bye. How are you? Can I ask you a question, just so you know? I'm Al. Here's my producer, and we're live on 420radio.ca and paceradio.net. So basically, my basic question is pretty simple. Why do you march?
I've been doing it for years, and we still need to recognize it globally, so I march.
There you go. Exactly.
I want to travel and be able to smoke weed in other countries.
Yeah, exactly. Good answer. Thank you. Right. So we need lounges. We need lounges where they can host events.
Yes, we do. We're missing so many of them now. It's really sad.
So why do you march, Ashley?
Oh, because this needs to be legal everywhere, and we need to change the face of legality too. We definitely need lounges.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to have a lot of them in Toronto. Not
yeah.
Now there's
exactly.
Like 4.
We'll get there. As I said to people earlier, when cannabis was illegal, we were marching for cannabis law reform, and we're still doing that today.
To this day, 100%. We still need to up all of our legal limits to allow for medical patients to actually get some form of relief.
Why should someone get arrested with 32 grams or a ticket for 32 grams when you can go places and buy substances with greater quantity?
Right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Thanks, Ashley.
No problem. Thank you.
Website?
SofaKingGoodBakery.com.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember the days when the chant was so loud it would echo off the buildings?
Right? Oh my God, you couldn't see the street.
Yeah, side to side, sidewalk to sidewalk. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a simple question for you. I'm asking everybody as we go along here. Why do you march?
I march because cannabis is legal here, it doesn't mean it is in other parts of the world. People are jailed for this everywhere. Yeah. And even with legalization, there's still a legal system that's attached to this. Like,
legalized
people have 28
cannabis
grams of
everywhere.
cannabis. It's a little crazy. And there's people suffering around the world, jailed, facing death sentences for cannabis.
A year ago, there was a couple of guys in Singapore that got hung.
That exactly.
I think there's somebody else waiting to be
Our
hung as
crowd's
well.
a bit smaller than it has been in other years, but the message is still the same. And it will still be the same until cannabis is legalized and is legal and accepted.
Exactly.
Stigma needs to be removed as well, right? So,
Exactly.
we're working on that. I mean, we're 5 years here legalization, and it's still, stigma still attached to it.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be a quick fix, but we keep this up and we keep normalizing it.
It's like 90 years of prohibition. That ain't going away.
Exactly. And we think it's just because now we have stores everywhere. It's just going to be, hoity-toity and fun and it's not. People still have bad are still brainwashed. The reefer madness, that generation is still around. So,
Yeah, exactly.
And their kids. So we just need to change the way cannabis is viewed, and again, not just here globally. This is a global march. This isn't just in Toronto. This is just Toronto's section of this global march.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just need to keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one going on in New York right now too.
Al says there's one going on in New York right now.
I love it. Well, it is global, right, guys?
That's right, global. All right. Oh, we got a poll there. All right, thanks, Amy.
Take a poll. Put some rap music on.
I'll stop and ask Church a question. I'm asking everybody the same question. Okay. All right. Okay. Why do you march?
I march to spread awareness and to show my experience along with having a good time and hanging out with some friends.
That's right. Yeah. Awareness is good. That's right. Okay. Thank you.
The Hamilton
Hey,
Police Headquarters.
I've got 11 here, and I've got a question for 11.
Okay, you go ahead.
And I asked this question of everybody I've been talking to during the march.
Okay.
Why do you march?
7.5 inches. Oh, sorry, what?
Why do you march?
I thought it was something else. I thought you were going to ask me something else. I mean, one, it's just great to see everyone. Let's be honest. Should we keep walking? Let's not lose the herd. So it's definitely a community thing. It's definitely a beautiful energy, but we got to show up, just like with the podcast, as the different manifestations as we are as like consistent cannabis users and community members, to show how diverse. Like, you got to show up for it to kind of like share the colors inside of the community and kind of just like represent. So I think it's rewarding definitely to be part of it, but yeah, like to show up and to march, I think you gotta give that respect to the plant by like presenting yourself as part of something that is involved with cannabis. So I feel like it was just representing, but also it's totally selfish. It's 100% selfish because I just get to hang out with a bunch of stoners.
Yeah, dual purpose. Fight for cannabis law reform and hang out with friends.
Yeah, I feel like we even just shifted the energy to like fun. I mean, it feels protesty because we have a chant, but it's like, me, I prefer to kind of focus on the, on what's working, on what the positive is. So if we can all just constantly live a good example, like by checking ourselves first, and then what people notice of the community is positive. Like, look, everyone's just goofing around, laughing, being creative, colorful bunch. Like, it's about the opportunity to, offer that impact as like what collectively as a group a stoner's supposed to like be. Not that it's period after this group. It's just like here's a bit. Here's like a Toronto vibe. Yeah.
And in this march are some people who've been here since the beginning, and it's good to see that this year's a bigger march than last year, and last year was sort of it wasn't really much promo or anything, and this year there's some promo done, and we got more people up.
Just keep moving with it, man. That's it. Let the momentum build.
Do it all again next year. Just try to build again, rebuild.
It's always a fun time. you know, and it gives you the opportunity to probably try some new shit or smoke a joint with someone you ain't never smoked a joint with before.
Somebody maybe you only knew through Facebook.
Well, that's what I said. I was joking about that when I was getting the chance together. I'm like, it's like this is a fucking bunch. Like I see a bunch of faces that I only see online.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. So, all right, 11. Well, let's shout out to where people can find you, man.
Discipline Stoners. Me and my wife, Winnie Clark, have a podcast called Discipline Stoners, and I mean, a bunch of people who are here have been on it and will be on it. And yeah, we just are lucky enough to be documenting this time period in history and going at it through the lens of mindfulness. So that's like what we talk about. And yeah, we do canna covers, all sorts of stuff like that. So you can check us out. Discipline.
We'll have a show about the march. And after, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a song. Yeah.
Damn, didn't someone catch the ball? I think Spliff McKenzie. We just made history. I was just freestyling, and then a homie comes up and starts freestyling next. It was awesome, and like we, you know, there's always those moments that happen authentically, and when you exist in the cut, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All righty.
You're documenting it.
Oh yes. Been doing it for years. We used to just do it in audio. Now you got the cameras going, so yeah, that's right. Cannabis. There we go. All right. Thanks, 11.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you. Good to see you. I got a question for you, Val. All right. Why do you march?
Because we can.
Yeah, we can. That's right. It's allowed in our country.
We sure can.
There's a lot of countries where you can't.
Absolutely, you bet. And we're so lucky to be here in Canada.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. 11 getting the chance going there.
Good job.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Eh?
Yeah, totally.
All right. Oh, okay. On to my next interview, I guess. Yes. Pop-up question. That's what I'm going around asking everybody. Why do you march?
That's a great question.
Talked to, I don't know, half a dozen, 7 people so far.
Why do you march?
Why do I march? I march for cannabis law reform. That's the same reason I marched for when I started this, going to these approximately 20 years ago. And I still do it for today because even though cannabis is legal, we still need cannabis law reform. People can still get fined or even arrested for quantities of cannabis that are, you know, they're only 30 grams. You know, some people need more than that. You know, you go camping for 2 weeks. You're going to take, you know, for some people, 30 grams isn't going to be enough. So people risk that. There's the taxes. There's people getting just arrested. There's other stuff as well. If you could deal with those excise taxes, that would help lower the cannabis. Maybe make it so that you don't have to climb a mountain and swim through the ocean in order to get to the regulatory part of it all.
Yeah, agreed.
So, all right, Val. Good talking to you.
Hooray.
Hey, Thomas. How you doing?
Good.
I got a quick. Yeah, that's right. I got a quick question for you.
Ask away.
All right.
Legalization globally, and for me, it's logical legislation here in Canada. We're just doing it badly for the wrong reasons. So for me, I want to stand against that.
Still fighting for cannabis law reform.
Exactly. What a way to say it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking, well, why do I march? And I thought, well, why did I march in the beginning? And it had to do with to change the cannabis laws because cannabis is illegal, right?
This is the second march for me in 25. I think I went 20 years ago when I moved way too much weed to be out here openly. I never went again.
Now back then I was marching for cannabis law reform, and today I still march for cannabis law reform because there's things that could be changed. The regulatory end of things, as well as I look at it as, taxes would obviously make it better. If they could adjust that, patients could have tax-free medicine? Why not a location where a patient can actually go into and get their medicine and talk to somebody who's,
Well, I would just take the boot off the neck of the industry. It's stifling innovation. Nobody can move. It's a stranglehold in favor of monopolizing for corporate interests that do not care about the average Canadian, doesn't care about the medical patient, doesn't care about the recreational user. Let's smarten up.
Yeah, exactly. And some countries use us as an example of way to do things, and we're still fighting in order to make change.
Yeah, well, one punch at a time, right?
That's right. Exactly. All right, Thomas. Thank you.
All right, keep marching.
We will. I think the newbie is burning up the tires on the little Nugs cart here.
Last time I checked, I don't even know if the baby's still in there.
Oh, really?
It's been a long time since I've looked.
You got it tied in there pretty good, though, with the string and all.
It's pretty secure, but ever since he's become mobile, he climbs out every once in a while. So, yeah, how big is Toronto? I'm sure we'll find him later.
So I have a question for you. As you said, you're the newbie. Why do you march?
To have the conversation, or to encourage having the conversation. I think my biggest thing is I do not like the fact that any conversation is cut down because people are uncomfortable or they only want one side to be told. And I think that the conversation regarding cannabis isn't fully being told or fully allowed to be told. And I think that's both the positives and the negatives. I'm not even advocate that it's, the miracle. I don't think anything is the one and all thing, but people have to at least be willing to do the studies on it, have the conversations. What is it actually doing? Where does it help? Who can it help? And allow people to find that personalization that I've really come to understand. Like I used to think that weed equals weed. And now I've become fully aware that it's so personal in terms of how you take it, how much you take it, what you take it for. And if the conversation isn't allowed to be had, then people will constantly be quite possibly utilizing it in the wrong way because they have nobody to really go to find out how they can improve, I guess, their experience with the plant. That make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And being you're a newbie, it's good to hear.
Yeah, you know what? And I think if the conversation is allowed to be had, then the stigma breaks. All those other things that people are wanting to have happen. I think it just starts with people being allowed to even discuss it.
Yeah, exactly. Because before, without legalization, that was that would be an issue with a lot of people. They didn't want to discuss it because it was illegal, and they figured discussing it would be taken negatively by somebody in their family or a friend or.
I don't know. You tell me, Al. You've been in this community for way longer than I've even been in it, for sure. But I think the conversation doesn't want to even be fully had within the community, lest some of the, I think everything has positives and negatives, and I think sometimes even the community itself doesn't want the full conversation to be had. It just in case, even MJ and I talk sometimes, and she's worried sometimes that she might find out that maybe she isn't a fully medical user, and that bothers her. Maybe she is more of a recreational user, and not that there should be a stigma attached to that either, but she's preached so long in her own mind that this is why I consume, that she's almost afraid to find out that maybe there are other reasons she consumes, and then that changes the narrative that's been built up in her own head.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's scary for some people.
Well, personally myself, I've consumed cannabis since I was 13. And when I became a patient when I was 41, it was something that I knew I could use as the benefit wise, and would help me. There was a benefit for me to consume it because it was going to help me with my condition, and because of cannabis. I never got prescribed any opiate drugs other than when I was hospitalized.
Do you?
So because I couldn't shut up.
So let me ask you this, just because we're talking conversation, or having the conversation.
Yeah, and we're stuck here.
One of the things that, in regards to opening the conversation, and I'd love to have your opinion on this, is MJ and I talk a lot about the consuming it through the burning consumption, through smoking it, and the health benefits that can come from cannabis, but also, there's also the negative side of, that form of consumption can certainly do damage to lungs. And I think that's the conversation that even people in the community are afraid to have, because everybody just wants to talk about it as if it's this perfect thing. How do you feel about that concept of that form of consumption?
Oh, I've been a toker all the way along, but I push and discuss the non-smoking methods, because I don't expect somebody who, let's say, is 75 years of age and is going to start using cannabis medicinally, who has never smoked anything in their life. I don't think that they should be forced to smoke cannabis, and that was part of the argument before the courts back in 2013, because at that time smoked cannabis was the only way that we were legally allowed to consume it as patients. Right. And so it went battled through the courts, and we had like a 5-year-old lad whose mother was making him cannabis oil, but that at that time was illegal, and she was risking arrest.
Do you I think, okay, so I as you're just talking there, I'm just thinking this out loud.
Sirens blaring.
Right, MJ always makes comments about the fact of, 5 years ago, this whole place would have scattered as soon as they heard the sirens go.
Now,
no.
Now they ride by on their bikes and they say hi.
I think one of the things also about why I advocate for having the conversation is because of things like you just described, where somebody now comes into the world of going, okay, there is a more natural way for me to maybe, fight against some drug that maybe the pharmaceuticals have been working with them with. And now they're like, oh, well, maybe cannabis can actually do it for me. But there's very few people, though, that they can actually go to have the conversation to say, hey, guess what? You don't have to smoke it, because the stigma and the perception is like, I thought that was the only way it was ever consumed. Like, the fact that there's so many methods now has blown my mind over the years. But again, it goes back to having that conversation. People still don't know. So now they're thinking, oh man, I could probably use cannabis, but I don't want to smoke it. And they don't even realize that there's an option.
Exactly, they don't.
That only happens when people are willing to sit down and go, we talked about bud tenders being kind of handcuffed, that they're not able to, they often are the doorkeeper, and someone comes in and they're interested in trying something, but the bud tenders aren't equipped and empowered and trained enough to really share any information with them. And so where do people go who are like going, I think this can help me, but nobody can talk to me about it, and nobody's willing to talk to me.
Oh, believe me, in those early days, that was big time, big issue. And there's more now than there was 5 years ago, but 10 years ago, it was nasty.
Well, I can tell you this, and I'll end with this, because there's lots of other people.
Right, we got to go.
Yeah. But this conversation that I'm just having with you, if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be at a global marijuana march on a video feed having a conversation about cannabis, I would have been like I would have thought you are nuts and you're high. You got to be high, clearly. So just that's why I'm here, is the fact of, even as a non-consumer, I still believe that these conversations need to be had, and that's what I'm advocating for.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks, Timmy. Where can people find you?
Oh, well, you can find us at the Newbie and the Doobie, and we do have a show here. What is it, Wednesday nights, I think?
Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock.
Wednesday nights is 10 o'clock, the Newbie and Doobie podcast, and we're actually working on a bunch of new stuff right now that we'll be looking to release in the next little while. Then, of course, Mary Jane Baker's got her own stuff through Instagram, and I'm at the Real Timmy Boyle. But Newbie and the Doobie, check us out, and we want to break the stigma, have the conversation, bring the fun, and raise the bar.
There you go. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. All right. Well, signing off here. We're live here at the Gold Marijuana March at Queen's Park, Toronto, the North. And come on, check us out. We'll be here, well, obviously, till after the 420. If you're close, stop in for a visit. Check out our vendors. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical